been a while since I've made a podcast, but today I wanted to get back on. I've been really busy the last couple of weeks, actually, the last couple of months. So I've been busy writing just in general. Starting this YouTube journey, I realized that, I was sharing a lot of parts about me, and, um, I made a lot of videos. Unfortunately, a lot of the ones that I want to really connect with people are the videos that unfortunately aren't being watched, which is kind of unfortunate. When I started making YouTube videos and started being a content creator, my whole goal was to kind of be that voice that I needed when I was going through a lot of the struggles of family court, and I wanted to make videos for dads so that they could have kind of like a that I could be the person that I would have needed when I was looking for advice. And my goal was to reach other dads like that. And unfortunately, those are the videos that haven't really hit off. My military videos are probably my highest watch videos, and that's cool and everything. Um, but when I started to reframe how I wanted YouTube to go, um, you know, obviously everybody they want to make they want to be they want to be able to make YouTube their primary job. Um, I wasn't looking for that. Maybe when I first started, you have that pipe dream of maybe what I'm going to say will connect with people and they'll want to watch me all the time. The sad reality is that that's not what YouTube brought me. Um, so I kind of reframed the way I found success. My idea of success now on YouTube is, yeah, it would be great getting thousands of views, thousands of subscribers, getting millions of subscribers. But in reality, that probably won't ever happen. And I'm okay with that. And the reason why I am is because if the things I talk about resonate with at least a couple guys, and then they can be a better father because of stuff that I do, or the stuff that I say, then that means the world to me. And honestly, I started wanting to do these podcasts because I feel like there's a lot of pressure when you're doing videos that you have to be perfect, that you have to have a perfect script. But part of being a dad and part of having wisdom is that, like, you might not have the most polished information, but the information you have is still good. Um, and I think that's what I really wanted to tap in, and that's what I really wanted for my term of success to be, is I want to be able to reach other guys, and I want to do that by giving real stories and kind of walking through my life. Um, so that all this to lead into the fact that, so I really enjoyed talking about the things I went through, because, like I said, if one person can watch it and they can be touched by it and they can become a better version of themselves, that's what I want. So, back on my son's birthday, I know I talked about my previous videos. I started writing, and in that time frame from the last video or the last podcast I did, episode 2, I did finish my manuscript and I got it all polished, and I sent off all my query letters, and right now it's being queried out. I got 2 rejections so far, so there's still 9 queries out there, and I'll be honest, like, this whole thing is pretty stressful. The when I first started putting pen to paper and started writing, I didn't really know how I was gonna do it. You know, I thought about just like writing in order, putting in chronological order, and I got a lot of good information out, but it wasn't really painting the picture. Like, the goal of me writing my story is that so you guys can feel like you're in my shoes, because a lot of you are in my shoes, and uh, I wanted to be authentic and I wanted to be realistic about how I portrayed myself and how I come across, and I wanted you guys to be able to know that when you're reading my book or you're watching my videos, that I'm authentic. Now, if you watch some of my old videos that I first did, I did a lot of scripting and I would read off the screen. I definitely didn't look like I was comfortable, and honestly, when you first start out recording yourself, you're not very comfortable because it's very foreign to be looking at a camera and to be talking to it like it's a person. But since I've been doing this for a while now, I feel a lot more comfortable in front of the camera. Um, Also, in general, I just kind of feel more comfortable when I'm in public and just talking to people. I would say it's giving me a confidence that I didn't think I was going to be able to have. So, uh, I finished the book, my memoir. It's called The Pursuit of Daddiness, and it's basically like going through my life and kind of going through all the trials and tribulations that I went through, the traumas that I went through as a child, um, the lack of an emotionally present father, and basically my journey and how not having a great father taught me how to be a better father or a great father. Um, and I go through my life story in this book, and I look back at all the examples that I had from my father, and I see it's weird how when you look back, your perception of life is considerably different. So when you're a kid, everything everything that's around you is normal, regardless if it's abnormal or not. You still look at the situation as normal because it's all you know. And unfortunately, when you're younger, you put your parents on a pedestal, and like even if they're completely fallible, um, they you look at them in a certain light, and like I think for any child, they want their parents' approval. They want their parents to be proud of them, and I was no different. I grew up in the foster care system. Uh, I was with my parents until I was like 2.5, 3, and they couldn't take care of me. And they put us in foster care, and my brother died in foster care. And then like my dad got custody of me back, and like just didn't participate in the journey of fatherhood. That's like the one thing I enjoy the most is being a dad, and that's another reason why I started this journey. And being a dad is what made me want to write a book. There's a lot of heavy things that happen in my life, and there's a lot of traumas that happen to me, and I talk about all those in my book. And honestly, like I never want my son to feel like I'm overwhelming him with the things I went through in my life, and but I also want him to know who I am. I want him to know why or how I became the man I am today. And I think we all want to have a legacy, and we want something that's going to carry on after we're gone. And now I have a book that it basically leads up to his 8th birthday, and I started writing it right after his birthday, and I finished in about a month, which is honestly kind of crazy. It's 61 chapters, 92,000 words, and I never thought that was possible. I joke around, like I've written more 300-page books than I've read in my life. Obviously I was in college and I had to read in college, but like reading has never been a pastime for me. Like I never like to sit down and relax and read a book. Like if I read, it's because I'm trying to get information on something. But writing down my journey, it was extremely therapeutic, and it's kind of weird how your mind can kind of compartmentalize things, and like you're not really able to connect the dots. Like there's a lot of things that went through my life that I look back and I don't even know how I got through them. And like writing down, like I was able to correlate memories that went with each other, like certain timelines. Like I remember, I don't want to go too much in my book, but like I remember when after my brother passed away, I didn't realize that I started kindergarten like 2 months later. In my mind, those things were so far apart, but like in the grand scheme of things, like 2 months ago was like my son's birthday, and that's like crazy. Like thinking of how close in proximity those two things were, and like there's no wonder why I was kind of the weird kid like that age. I went through severely traumatic things, and unfortunately, my father had his issues, and he didn't know how to be a dad. And I think in those things, those are what taught me to be a dad, because the way I try to parent in my own life is just trying to be the parent that I wish I would have had, because there's so many times I could have used a dad like in my younger years, and I look at my experiences, and like I could have used that positive male role model, to teach me how to be a man, teach me how to navigate life, and to kind of navigate through these skills and these things that like you don't know until you're taught. And obviously I'm a single dad, and I share custody with my son's mother. And I guess this is kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about this week. And I've been struggling with it, and it's a weird struggle because I miss my son, and I realize that the reason why my son doesn't like try to make more of an effort to try to see me more is because I've been the father that he needs. So like at this point, he's been wanting to stay at his mom's a lot. Like he'll come over and still hang out with me, and we'll do a lot of fun stuff together. But a lot of times he wants to go back to his mom's, and like the reason why I've started to realize that that's probably because of how great our relationship is that when I was younger, I craved I craved attention from my father. I craved love from my father. Like I just wanted to feel like I was loved. My brother had died. I was trying to navigate the world without him, and I needed my dad. And like my dad was just aloof mentally. And like ever since my son's been little, like I've always prided myself in being an extremely active father. So like if my son wants to play, I'm on the ground playing with him. If he wants to go to the playground, I'm going down the slide with him. We're sliding down together. Uh, Basically anything we do, I'm 100% involved in it, and I'm 100% active in it. Like I'm not distracted when we're together. Um, and like a lot of my videos and a lot of my writing is done in times where he's with his mom, and it's like I'm sad about that because I really love him and I really want to be around him all the time. And I realize because I'm around for him, he doesn't have that yearning for like I need my dad, because at this point, I haven't dated since my relationship with his mother ended. And like the only thing I've focused on is being his dad and trying to make the best memories I possibly can, and being there emotionally for him all the time. Basically any circumstance where I could see where I would have needed a certain thing, I try to be that thing. And it's like I wish he wanted to be here more, but when he needs me, I'm there. Like if he wants me to go pick him up, I go pick him up. If he misses me, I go pick him up. Like if he wants to go do something fun, we do something fun. Like every time he needs his dad is there. And unfortunately for me, like that hurts. Like I wish he'd be here all the time, but at the same time, like I know he's getting the dad that he needs, and he's getting that father figure, and he's getting that role model, and he's getting the wisdom, and like we have such a fun time when we're together. But a lot of times at night he wants to go back to his mom's house, and like it sucks because I've tried to build this life here. I bought a dog. Like we have a dog here, and like the dog annoys him all the time. So like that might be a reason why he wants to be at his mom's too. But like that's like one of those things. It's like he begged for a dog, and then we get the dog, and the dog annoys him, so he wants to be at his mom's house. But I'm grateful. Me and his mother have good co-parenting now. Like we didn't have that for a long time. We're flexible with each other's schedules. So like if I need him for like a family event, she'll let me take him. If she needs him for a family event, I'll let her take him. Like it's about giving him what's best for him. And like one of the things I was thinking about too is that like it's crazy. Like the whole thing that motivated me to write this book was um just the weekend after his birthday, we went to the lake, and like he was so happy. Like seeing the look on his eyes, like when I was his age, my innocence was gone. I wasn't a little, like I was still a little kid in like my body, like, but if you read my book, you'll understand why my innocence was gone at this point. But to like see your child be the best version of themselves at that age is amazing. Like look at my son's eyes and know he's still innocent. There's still joy in his heart. Like he's not jaded by the world yet. Like that is such an incredible feeling, and like those are like the victories I try to tell dads to like really celebrate. Like I think as men, like we can be really hard on ourselves, and like it's really difficult to give yourself props. Like you're always hard on yourselves. You're your worst critic, and like I want you guys to take those moments when you see little things like that, and you see like true joy in your child's heart. You see true joy in your child's eyes. Like just take a moment to drink that in sometimes. Like there was I'm lucky enough now that my former stepson is still in my life, and he still looks at me as a father figure. Like his dad's still around, but like I'm there to be the role model he needs, or that male role model he needs when his dad's not there. And I don't take that responsibility lightly. Like I know it's a privilege, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to have him around. And like last week we went to the water park, and we're like doing all these fun things while it's still summertime. And like for a while I was in the water with them. I was in the wave pool, and we went down the water slides together. But then there was like just like a moment where like I ran to the bathroom, and um my bonus son is 16 years old. So he was able to watch my son who was 8. And I just went to the bathroom, and I came back, and I saw them playing in the wave pool. And like I just took a moment just to sit there and like watch, and like it made me so happy. Like that was the most to see your children happy, like for somebody that didn't have a happy childhood. There's something extremely therapeutic about that. Like I always say it's like I don't know if my son realizes how much he's saving me as much as I'm saving him. Like I'm preventing him from going through the things I went through. The emotional things, the physical things, like that stuff won't happen because I'm here, and I'm dedicated to being the best dad I can for him. But like when I was a kid, I didn't have that. Like I didn't have the gatekeeper. I didn't have my dad to keep me safe. Like a lot of the bad things that happened to me happened because on my father's watch. And to be that protector to my son, to safeguard these innocent parts of him, like there aren't words to describe that emotion. Like when you just look at your children and you're just happy and you feel fulfilled. I took a video and I sent it to my sister, and I was like, I was so happy to send this picture of them playing in the water. And she's like, you should be out there playing. I was like, honestly, I have been the whole day. But sometimes you just want to sit back and look at what you created. Like that's like when as dads we need to celebrate our victories like that. So those are things that have been happening the last couple of weeks. And then after I finished that book, like I still had the urge to do more. It's like I think I might be an author now, and I'm excited for the legacy that can bring. Um, the memoir was to tell my son who I am, but then like I wanted to kind of go in different places and different areas. Like I wrote a fictional book, and part of the fictional book starts with my real life. Like it has the full trajectory of my own life, and at a certain point, it's like a fork in the road. And I don't want to give away any of the stuff that's in the book because I think it's truly a special book. And like I don't know how I even thought of it. Like I legit have an ADHD brain, so like my brain just thinks about everything all the time. And finally deciding to write, like I'm able to put a lot of those thoughts down on paper, which is like pretty honestly pretty crazy. Um, but like I finished that book, and that only took me 3 weeks. Like that one's a so the memoir is 61 chapters, 92,000 so ever many words. The fictional story is 39 chapters, and it's 82,100 and something words. And it's like I did all this in such a short period of time. But like I've always had like these thoughts, and I'm like, well, what if I pursued that? Like, what if that was my life? Like, what if those things I imagined were my life? And that was the direction I went in. And honestly, it was such an amazing experience building a world that didn't or most of the book is a true story. The events that happen in it are a true story. Like everything that happens is a true story, but like I changed the direction of which they went. So now like my story is different, but these events still happen. Um, and that was fun building a world, building fictional characters, building these adjacent characters, giving these people light that haven't had a chance to have a light in my life yet, and kind of creating this narrative and kind of bring in those interactions and those stories back together. I'm really excited about that book. I finished that about 2 weeks ago, and I started sending out letters for representation for that one too. I don't know. This is the scariest part about being a writer, being an author, which it's still crazy for me to say that because like I've grown up with imposter syndrome. Like everything I do, I feel like I don't belong. I don't feel like I belong in the army. I don't feel like I deserve to have a college degree. I don't feel like I deserve to have my career. And it's weird because like the only thing I truly feel like I belong in, and really the only thing I feel secure myself in, is being a dad, which is kind of crazy. But like when I'm with my son, like I feel like the best version of myself. But I just the way I grew up and where I came from, I don't feel like I belong. And like the fun part about building that story too was kind of like I took on that character, and I became that character. But like the character in the book is flawed like I am, but it's a great story. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully it gets picked up. But uh, the process of querying literary agents is stressful. You know, because I put my heart and soul on these pages. Like it was extremely hard to put all these thoughts on paper and kind of be vulnerable. And then you finish it and you review it and you edit your pages, and you go through and you read through it all by yourself again. Like you do your first pass, you write the book, then you do your pass through, and um and then you have your final. Let's see if I can put this mic on my lapel. Um, so you do your final pass through, and you say, okay, I'm good. And then you start looking up. There's a website where they're looking for certain types of manuscripts. Like they have like a wish list of what kind of books they want to publish. So you try to find agents that that basically fit your demographic or the niche that you're trying to to publish your book in. And one of the reasons why I decided to do traditional publishing is my life is really crazy. Like between work and being a dad and being in the reserves, like I don't really have a lot of free time. So like as much as it would be cool to try to like do all my own publishing and like try to get a book deal by myself, like I just don't have the time. So I'm trying to do the traditional publishing route. So my book's out. Both my books are out right now for hopefully to get representation so that I can publish them. I'm really proud of them, and I think they're really good, and I think a lot of people will get a lot out of them. Uh, it just this part of it is really scary because like having imposter syndrome, like they say you're an author when you write a book, but in my eyes, you're not an author until you're published. So like I tell people, I'm like, I started skateboarding a few years ago, and I'm like, there's like the guys in the Olympics, and there's the guys in the X Games, and then there's me outside skateboarding. Like we're both doing the same activity, but we're doing it at far different levels, and like those are professionals, and I'm not a professional. So like I feel like when it comes to writing, like yeah, it's cool that I have these manuscripts, and like it's cool that I finish these books and I polish them and like they look legit. But like until an agent signs me, until a publisher wants to publish my book, I'm just a person that likes writing, and it's hard not being able to control your own like the destination that you want to go in. And I hope that I become an author because I've already started a couple of other books. I started my third book, which is honestly pretty crazy. I got that whole entire book mapped out. I got all the characters built up. I just got to change some of their names, and but I got all the events down. Like all the chapters are outlined and it's ready to go, and like all the key facts are there. Now I just have to build the world around those facts and kind of like build the character development, build the dialogue, like all that stuff is coming together, and there's a complete outline. So that story is done. So I'll have 3 books by the time that one's done. And then I started planning a 4th book, which I have an outline for. And this one's a children's book. And the reason why I wrote a children's book is like I wrote these books for my son. Like my memoirs so he can find out who his dad is. This fictional story is built around like me having him. And it goes like the time frame from when I became a father. The third one is kind of going over some of the things that I went through as a child and kind of building a story around that to kind of cope with those things I went through. But it's a really cool story, and like the ideas that I came up with for this book are absolutely insane. And like if I tell anybody, they'll be like, "You're crazy." But I promise that when it comes down and it's finally out, people will be like, "That is incredible." Just the way my brain works, like. But I can't explain it because I'll sound like I'm an absolute crazy person. But then I wanted to do something for my son and his brother, like my bonus son. Like I wanted to do something to give to them. Like I realized that I'm really creative, and I was just thinking up of like things. I was just brainstorming, and I put together this whole entire journey. So basically, like my son really likes like engineering stuff. Like he likes watching Crunch Labs on Netflix, and he's really interested in how things work. Like he loves going to the science museum. Like he loves deconstructing things. He loves building like models and stuff. So I was like, but then I have my bonus son who's 16, and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life. And like I thought it was a really cool story to try to figure out how they could figure out what they want to be when they get older. And I don't want to give away the premise because I have to safeguard some of these ideas because I think they're really original. And doing my research, there's nothing else out there like it. So I wanted to keep that. A lot of my stuff, a lot of my stuff under wraps for that reason. But I'm really excited by the story of that. And then I also decided I was going to write a children's book for like level 1 books, like the very first book a child reads. It's a short, sweet concept that basically the character is my son and me. And it's basically just like that first bit of dad wisdom that I was able to give to my son when he was younger. And it's gonna be a picture book, so it's like these other ones are like 90,000 words, and I think the picture book is like 500 words. it's like it's like those kind of books where the description is longer than the book itself. So it's exciting, like doing all this stuff, like, and I still have my real life. I think the only part that like that really sucks about it is that like I have all these things I want to share with people, and I can't share them because I'm still embarrassed. Like I said, like until you're published, like you're not an author in my mind. Like I am, but I'm not. So, and then like people are like, "Well, I want to read it," and I'm like, "Well, I don't really want you to read it." But yeah. So that's my next phase in my life. This YouTube journey has been pretty awesome, and I keep trying to do different things. I first did the long form videos. I realized that wasn't gonna work. I did I started the shorts, and I've been doing the shorts ever since. And I'm actually like right now. I think it was a year ago that I really started doing this full time. So now I'm over like 620 or 630 videos, which is crazy. I still have more videos than subscribers, so the goal is to finally get it to the place where I have more subscribers and videos. That would be the goal. Like I'm like in a rare breed where like, although it's kind of weird like thinking about it, I've only been doing this a year and I have like 600 videos. That means I average more than 2 videos a day, which is insane. But a lot of those are shorts, so I wouldn't say that they're like real long videos. But I do have a lot of long form videos. So I did those, and then I started doing my live streams, which honestly I really started enjoying doing the live streams because, like, again, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, like my goal is to help people. I went through a lot of adversities, and I didn't feel like I had a means to be able to communicate the things that happened to me. And like I feel like I needed somebody like me when I was going through a lot of those issues. And as great as the videos are, like you have to search them. And the weird part is that like a majority of the people that stop into my page are in my live streams are kids, which I don't understand how that works when you basically sorry, I'm trying to get the microphone on right. So it says not for kids, but like a lot of people that come in are like between like 13 and like 17 years old. And at first I was annoyed by that. But then like I looked back at myself, and like I realized that at that age I probably could have used somebody like me that like went through stuff. So like if I can give advice to some kid, if I can provide some type of wisdom, um, I wasn't good in high school. Somehow I made it to college. Somehow I graduated from college, but like the beginning part of the journey wasn't easy. And some of these kids don't have a father figure in their lives. Unfortunately, like I feel like being a good father or good dad is very taboo in our society. Like there's a lot of men that just give up on their kids. There's a lot of guys that just walk away. And growing up without a dad, like, it's hard. Um, it's hard not having that positive influence. And I recognize the fact that there are a lot of kids out there. There's a lot of men out there that, or even girls too. Like, there's a lot of, I've connected with some females on my, some female teenagers on mine that like don't have a father figure, and just being able to give them some advice and giving them some feedback, and just telling them that like it's okay to feel these feelings that you have. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. Like, but things can get better. Like, things, like, my main message to people is that like most of the people I talk to have probably went through trauma, whether it's grief and loss, whether it's not having an active parent, whether they're going through a family court situation. Uh, I've gone through a lot of it, and I've been lucky enough and I've been blessed enough to come out the other end and be able to be a better person. And I've found success in my own life, and I honestly just want to be able to be a beacon of hope for other people. You know, like, I might not be a YouTube star, I might not be a famous actor or famous athlete, but like, I built myself a life that I can be proud of. And when I look back at things, I probably shouldn't be here. Like, I was in the foster care system. I had two mentally ill parents. Um, I had an emotionally absent father. I grew up in poverty. Wasn't good in high school. Barely passed. And somehow, and I lost my mom. I lost my grandparents. Lost my brother. And like, I had more death by the time I was in my early 20s than like most people have in their entire life. But like, those things taught me things, and they gave me a different perspective. I have a different perspective than a lot of people do. So like I want people to know that like you can go through these bad things, but you can also come out the other end and still be something pretty great. So I struggle with imposter syndrome, but I work through it every day, and I still get up, and I still move forward, and I still try to be the best version of myself, and try to be the best dad I can be. I try to be the best coworker, employee, mentor, soldier. Like, I try to be the best of what I can be every day. You know, I have a firm belief in God, and when I was younger, I didn't necessarily have that. But when I got older, I tried to reframe the way I looked at the world. And like, as I came into faith, you know, when you, a lot of times people come into faith because they have some kind of trauma in their lives. And when I came into faith, it was, things were bad at home, but I'd always felt like I was missing something, and I needed like that higher power. And I grew up Catholic, and you know, like, I always wanted to go to church, but I felt like I was, if I go, I'm gonna be sitting in somebody's seat, and there's the imposter syndrome. Like, I don't feel like I belong here. And then when I met my son's mother, she wanted to go to church with me, or she wanted me to go to her church. And then I went, and I fell in love with it. And then, you know, I started to read scripture, and like, I started to believe in God, and like, kind of believe in everything happens for a reason. Like, you know, you read the Bible stories, and you learn lessons from them. And I just started to trust in the nature of things. You know, I'm a firm believer that like, if you do the right things, if you have faith, that I don't believe that you do good things to get in God's favor. I think you believe in God, and God does his good wills through you. So my faith is what brings this out. Like, me wanting to talk to you guys, me wanting to write about my journey. Like, that comes through because of my faith. And I made it through the hardest parts of my life because I believed that regardless of what was going on in the current moment, that I would be able to find peace and that God would still point me in the direction and place me exactly where He needs me to be. Um, and I firmly believe in that, and like I still believe in that. Like I feel like it's not my place to understand, or it's not my place to determine what is right and what is wrong. Like I can't lean on my own understanding of things. I just have to put faith in that I'm being directed, that I'm being guided to where I'm supposed to be. And to this point, when I started living that lifestyle, when I started letting things go and stop being so resentful and angry and pissed off all the time, things in my life started to change. Like even with faith, I got spiteful, and like it took somebody taking me under their wing to finally allow me to stop acting that way. Sometimes you just the biggest thing I've learned is that you need to be self-aware. Like you need to be able to accept criticism and accept it from a place of love. Like if somebody's telling me that there's something I need to do differently and there's something I need to change, like I'm gonna accept that because the way I look at it is that God's trying to communicate that through somebody else. Like He's saying, "You're not doing things the right way. Maybe you should modify them." And being self-aware like that has been huge. Like I know what's right, I know what's wrong, and like usually those things that I've modified have usually led to better situations than I would have if I just did things the way I want. If I got defensive, if I got um, upset and angry and got pissed off at God for things that didn't happen the way I want, um, I'd be a very angry individual. Um, so things have gotten a lot better, and I trust God, and I trust that we're all here for a reason, and I trust that I'm here making these videos because it can help somebody. Like I said, if only one person or two people, um, I I want to be able to help those people. So that's what this video is about. This journey, this podcast, this is basically just I haven't been on in weeks, and I have all these thoughts in my head, and I wanted to get them out. This isn't going to be the format I have moving forward. Now that I'm not like in my book every single night, I do want to focus more on this stuff. And like prior to me writing the book, I did want to start this podcast. And these first three episodes have been about obviously my book writing, my plans for the channel, for what I want to do moving forward, and my goal is to start having conversations with people and kind of get different perspectives on parenting. Um, you know, I want to have my one of my first guests I want to have is a father that is an adopted father. So he has one of his own kids and or his own child, and then he also has kids that are his bonus children. And I want to have him on because I think it's a good topic of discussion, especially for those who have stepchildren. Like it doesn't always have to be a nightmare scenario where like your kids hate you, and we'll get into that part of it. Like you just have to be accepting that things won't be as easy in the beginning. But if you give the kids a space and you're consistent and you stick around, it's like regular parenting. Like you have the opportunity to prove yourself. Like if you're a good dad, you build that, you ingrain that into your children. But you can't expect that to happen with somebody you just met. Like they have to feel you out, you have to feel them out, and they have to feel like that you're a safe place for them. And once kids feel like you're the safe place for them, that's it. Like you're in. Like you're like I'm forever like a father to my bonus son, and but that's something I earned. Like having a great relationship with my son is something I earned. Like you're not the dad is not a title that is given. It's a title that's earned. You can be a father A father is just somebody that's able to procreate. A dad is somebody that takes the role and they run with it. And they do what they have to do. Whether it's hard, they still do it. So that's where I want to go with this. Like one of the first videos is going to be with him, where I just have a conversation about like the bonus dad life, and being that father, being their father, not just the father figure, but like being their dad. Because being a dad doesn't mean just blood. I mean, if you're a dad, you can really impact and change somebody's life by the way you treat them and the way you talk to them and the way you give them. Like I said, me and my ex, we broke up. I didn't see my my bonus son for 3 years. The hardest 3 years of my life. When I was told I couldn't see him anymore, I broke down, I cried, and I was heartbroken. And then like 2 years later, on Christmas, he came out and he like ran up and he hugged me, and he was like a foot taller than he was the last time I saw him. But he hugged me and told me he loved me, just like he was that little kid still. And that's how he still acts with me. He's like, he wants that guidance from me. He sees how I am. He sees how I am with my son, and he wants me around, and I want him around. So, like that's what I want to iterate to people too. Is like, just because you don't have your own kids, or even if you have your own kids, you can have extra kids. There's like this stigma. Like I see like these videos of like baby mama drama and like fathers and like getting back at your other kids' siblings, and like I'm like, why would you act like that? Like I don't think people realize the impact that they're able to have by being present. Like I mean, it's like kind of like the big brother, big sister program. Like if you can be a positive role model, a positive influence in somebody's life, you can seriously change the direction that they go in. Like you might be the reason why they don't go down, whether they go up. So like that's the stuff I want to drill into people and to kind of like coach them through and kind of let them know about. I also want to talk to one of my buddies. He became a father, a dad later in life. So he's an older dad. And I kind of want to get his perspective on these things. Like my goal is to have guests that can tie into how dads, like situations you might be in. Like obviously I could talk about my own situations and hopefully they can help, but I like getting the idea of getting other fathers, other dads' perspectives. And even some females on like, I think it'd be important to talk to some women that can either identify or can like speak to what having a good father is like and what having a bad father is like, or what having a good dad is and what having a bad father is like. Because really my mission statement is obviously I want to help dads, but in truth, my goal is to help children. Because I was a child that didn't have a good father, a good dad. And I want the next generation of kids to have great fathers. Because if they have great fathers, they can become great fathers. And they don't have to be the one that breaks the generational chains. They can break it with themselves. They can give their kid that peace of mind of having a dad, of having a positive parent around, and they can become their best version of themselves without having to repair themselves. Like that's the hardest part about all this for me, is that like I was talking earlier about how therapeutic and medicinal being my son's dad is. I don't want the next generation of kids to have that medicine. Like I just want them to be happy, and I want them to continue on and give their kids the same parent that they had. Like it sucks that my parenting style is based off an absent parent. Like basically just being the parent I wish I would have had. I wish I could just be the parent I had, and then That would have been much easier. But I'm glad I can have these videos, these podcasts, because it honestly gives me an opportunity to just kind of talk and be myself, talk about topics I want to talk about, stuff I think you might be interested in. So those are topics for tonight. More topics coming soon. I'm gonna try to have these be more organized. I want to start talking about like some stuff in the news, some articles, stuff that's out about dads. Like I want to start getting into, like the analytics and statistics and like case studies and stuff, and like how like our impact. Oh, by the way, this is Rocky. He's my crazy Australian Shepherd that's annoying me right now. So like I want to make it a little more formal than it is right now. So expect like a better format in the coming weeks, in the coming months, and expecting to start getting guests on here. So if you're watching at these videos, I genuinely appreciate it. I think one day we'll look back and we'll be like, wow, I can't believe that that's what the concept used to be. So every week we improve though. So if there's anything I can say to you guys is keep pushing forward. Things might be bad now, but I promise things can get better. I am praying for you. I'm praying for your families. I'm praying for your children. I'm praying for your bonus children. So I hope that God's with you guys. I hope that you can find peace. I genuinely appreciate you guys being a part of this journey, being part of this community. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please share. Please subscribe. Also, share your stories down in the comments. Like, my goal is to have this be a community. So I may not have the answers on everything. You might have different outlooks on certain things I talked about and have your opinions. And I would love for you to share them down in the comments, because your comments might be the thing that helps another person. So I appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you in the next episode.